is your chance to ask any questions that you have, saving money, couponing. The sky's the limit. And it's always fun to come with a topic. So this week, it's right at the middle of the year. I thought it would be a great time for us to just look at where your budget is for the year and some ways to maybe get back on track if your budget just got way out of whack in the spring, and to talk about some ways that you could be earning some extra money on the side. So it's kind of a lot. We'll see what we get to. And I'm always happy with any questions that you have, whether they are on topic or off topic. That is okay with me. So just ask away. Leave your questions in the comments. And between myself or my husband, one of the two of us will make sure that I see them and that you get an answer. So again, completely fine. If your question is not budget or side hustle related, just ask away, whatever those questions are. So we are going to dive in I thought we would start with budget first, because obviously if we want to make some side money, that's great and probably needed, but let's see where our money is going first. Anytime we talk budget, the easiest form to talk budget is using an old form. You have to go digging, so we're going to share the link in the comments. And YouTube folks, I will try my hardest to remember to put it up after the video. So if you're watching after the fact, I will try to make sure that it gets put into the description, because I know that you guys don't get the comments long term. But you want to go through that link to get there. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can see this budget form. It's super easy and even walks you through how to fill it out. Dave has hidden this on their site really because he now wants you to use their app. This is really where the world is, but their budgeting plan is not free. And for most of us, there is kind of a free version, but the features that you're going to end up wanting are not free. So this sheet of paper is, and this is really where, if you've not created any sort of budget, this is what I would encourage you to start with. It's a great, make sure you did not forget a single thing kind of budget, even down to, like once a year taxes, once a year insurance, things that we don't always think of because they didn't happen this month. They still need to be factored into the budget. So I love this budget plan. I'm kind of sad that he's made it really hard to find, but use the link that we're going to put in the comments if you want to do this yourself. If you have a budget and you feel like you're in it, but you haven't actually looked at it in the last few months, you need to. It's great to have things and feel like they're flowing, but it's also a scary moment to realize 4 months down the road that things aren't flowing. We just thought they were. So seeing where your money goes is crucial to not only getting out of debt, but getting extra money in savings. So maybe debt isn't an issue for you. I think a lot of folks, when they hear Dave Ramsey, that's what they immediately think of is, I don't have a lot of debt. Me either. We don't have any debt other than a mortgage. And I'm okay with that. I think a mortgage is a very allowed debt. Dave and I don't always agree. But no matter whether you're in debt or out of debt or wherever, having a budget is still helping to make sure that whatever the extra money is, that we're not just blowing it. Because think about all that money you could be putting in savings if you sat down and realized, whoa, we're spending $300 a month eating out or something like that. You need to know where your money is going. So we do need to sit down. We do need to put it on paper so that you have a kind of a plan of where it's going to go. At least may not end up going there, but you had a plan to start with, and that's really all that matters. And yes, Amanda, you're right. This is an old Stitch Fix. I think I just wore another Stitch Fix shirt a few weeks ago too. But this is an old Stitch Fix shirt. So I've seen it around on some other folks too. Kind of fun. We should all just plan to wear them one day. Okay. So as we dive in terms of mid-year, it may not feel like there's a lot that you can make that are changes to your budget, but there could be some sections that you are overspending in that maybe you could bring down. So as you sit there and you kind of cash flow out, you look at where your money's been going over the last few months. Some of them, they've probably been looking great the last few months. You probably have used a fraction of the gasoline that you would normally be using. Some other things may actually be up. You're home a lot more, so maybe you've been, keeping the house a lot cooler than you normally do. Who knows? But hopefully some things here are going to be adjustable. So the big ones as you start to try to get things reined in or to try to figure out where the areas are that you're way over budget, that I would encourage you to make some changes on. When it comes down to just general categories that you could make some changes on anyway, the big ones that you can hopefully adjust. We can always call and renegotiate every bill. So your insurance bills, your internet, your phone, your cell phone, your cable, whatever these monthly bills are, they're not set in stone. You feel like they are because you always pay them, but you could call and see if there is a better option that you could be on for those bills. Now, one category I do want to hit on, so that one we always touch on. You can always renegotiate. You can always pit them against each other. Call one cable company, find out what their rate is. Call your cable company and say, hey, so-and-so is offering me a better rate to switch. And they'll try to keep you. You'll hopefully end up with a better deal. Internet is a tricky one. Depending on where you live, you may only have one option. Where we live, we only have one option. So there is no pitting against somebody else to try to get a better deal, but you still could call and see, hey, I signed up a couple of years ago. Has there been any change in rates? Could I get a lower rate right now? And it never hurts to make the phone call. Never hurts. Even if I don't have a competing company to potentially get a better rate with, you could still lower your own rate. So just make the phone calls. Don't use that as an excuse. Another big category on here is housing. And that is one that I wanted to touch on because I know, according to the news anyway, there's a large wave of people that are going to start defaulting on mortgages. You've been trying to make payments, and those payments, if the money's not there, it's not happening. But I do want to at least mention that not all, but some mortgage companies have released a way for you to defer payments. They're not deferring interest, so be very aware of that, but they are allowing you to defer payments and it not to actually hit you is what most of them are saying. Now, I have not personally tried this. We are still making mortgage payments and I would encourage you to do the same. Don't use this as an out. But if it is something where you're in dire straits, it, again, never hurts to make that phone call and see what your mortgage company is offering before you start to not make those payments. Because the minute you stop making payments, you end up getting yourself in a really bad situation because it's going to affect your credit really quickly. Let's say that we're on the verge of not being able to make payments. You could potentially refinance. This is way potential. I don't know anything about your finances to say that yes, you could or no, you couldn't. But let's say that you are about to default or you are about to start not being able to make other sorts of payments. Potentially refinancing, if you had enough equity in your home, could help to lower your mortgage payment and potentially give you some extra cash to make some extra payments to other things. But the minute I don't make payments, it hits my credit report. It starts to affect my credit. And now I have no ability to refi or to refinance because now my credit has been affected and the banks are gonna be like, I don't think so. And they're not gonna let you do that. So don't not make the payments to companies. Always make the phone calls, see what they're willing to do and verify that what they're willing to do isn't going to affect your credit as well. Do not just assume that it's not going to affect your credit. Verify first before you do take a deferred payment or some kind of plan that they offer so that you're good to go. Okay, so I think we're, good. I'm glad, Jessica, you were having issues seeing it on Facebook, but I'm glad that it's there now. And Miss J, I agree. So joining in one category, Miss J is saying that's way up for her is groceries, just this whole top food category. Groceries is way up. And I had somebody ask recently why I haven't been doing Facebook Lives for Publix. And I keep meaning to, but really when I get to the grocery store every week, I end up getting there and saying, you know what? We're still going to kind of live on a meat and potatoes system for us. And we're really not adding in a lot of splurge items. We're just going in for bare bones basics and we're eating bare bones basics meals to try to keep some of those higher priced items completely out of our budget because groceries are so high right now. Hopefully they're going to come back down. But until then, it's one where, yes, I can see these deals and they're super cheap, but at the same time, super cheap Ben & Jerry's is still going to cost me $1 for the carton of Ben & Jerry's, and I don't need Ben & Jerry's. It doesn't give us protein and all the other good things for us. I might want it, but it doesn't mean that it's going to fit in the budget. So that's a hard one with groceries, because folks do get stuck in wanting to grab all the deals, but those deals start to add up. And so that's where we are, trying to not bring in a lot of fun. We're splurging on a couple things, but not on a ton. Though my children may not love that, or my husband for that matter, but trying very hard if we can to keep that one down as much as we can. Because as Jessica said, the prices are ridiculous, definitely on meat and other categories too. They're just crazy, crazy high right now. And that's hard when you've always paid a certain amount for things. To change that price, it's just not happening here yet. Okay, so we've at least hit this form. I put the link in the comments, so if you joined late and you're wondering what this form is that I have up, this is Dave Ramsey's Easy Budget. We put a link directly to it. You will not find it easily on their site. It's kind of this is a hidden PDF. I always have to go and do kind of an in-depth Google search to find it every single time. So use the link that we put in there. It'll help you get an idea of where you are on your budget. And get an idea of where we could make some changes potentially. So the thing with a budget, the beginning part of a budget though, is for you to sit down and look at what's coming in. What is my monthly income? And then that page that I just had up was what's going out. But the first step really is to get an idea of what's coming in. And so that's where I wanted us to spend a bulk of our night tonight, was talking about ways to increase the what is coming in. Because if all of your expenses, if you are down to, meat and potatoes, we aren't making a lot of splurges, we don't have a lot of extra, then there's not much more that you can do to your budget. Then your only option is to try to increase what's coming in. Because obviously you've made all the changes you can to what's going out, or that's the goal. And so we have to switch the other way. Now, if you feel like there are categories that you could do better on, in terms of the going out, I'd love for you to put those in the comments if you need help in a particular category or tips to bring down a particular category in your budget. I would be glad to hit on those. One example I can tell you for us today, just keeping it real, I had to take a kid to the doctor. We have a high deductible insurance plan, so just the doctor visit is a hit, and she has a outer ear infection from swimming, the joys of the summer. But going in to get the prescription filled, the prescription's $75. It's like more expensive than the doctor's visit. So what do you do there? This is killing our medical budget, which we try to keep at zero. We try to really never see the doctor and never need medicine. But what can we do there? So, it's you figuring out ways to save money. My husband was actually the one that was with her in the pharmacy, and he's on the phone with me like, I don't really know. Is this ear infection really that bad? Don't worry, we did get the kid medicine. But there are a few options you could do there too. Option one, which we tried, but the doctor didn't call back, was calling and saying, hey, is there something else that we could get for this ear infection? $75 is insane for one medicine. Doctor didn't call us back. So option A didn't work in our situation, but hopefully, you would get a phone call back. Option B is trying other things. So it was technically running through our insurance, but our insurance doesn't have pharmacy coverage. So it wasn't really doing us any good. The next option is saying, what about GoodRx? Now, GoodRx is free. And you just have this little code and they plug in a free GoodRx code. That actually brought the prescription down to it knocked $40 something off of the prescription just to try that free GoodRx code. Now, there are other ways to bring down prescriptions too, but that's just one, and was boom, an easy $40 savings on one moment in the grocery store getting a prescription filled. But if you've got a category that's like that, so for us, that's a category that's technically, we really do, it's technically zero. We rarely are spending money on the doctor's office and on medicine, which I am very thankful for. But to take that category and then on one day blow not only the doctor's visit, but then potentially a $75 prescription, you just blew the budget this month. So anything that you can do is a help. And sometimes being proactive, not, figuring out before we spent the money, whoa, how can we bring that cost down? Because we know that's not in the budget, then that's where you'd want to go to. So if you've got a category that's like that, that you want some tips on, please stick them in the comments. I would be glad to go specific categories if we can, to help you bring down a category of your budget that's way out of whack. That definitely, it's hard to know where to hit and miss and help folks out. That's just one example, because medical bills can get crazy high and they can hit you out of the blue. We were good, and then we weren't. Then we're spending upwards of possibly $150 between the doctor visit and the medicine, but thankfully bringing it down. Jessica saying, doesn't Publix do free antibiotics? Yes, they do. So Publix does have a list of free antibiotics, but it has to be on that specific list. And that's actually a great question, Jessica, because if you are in our boat, and really the best thing you could do in that situation, and I'm not blaming my husband because he got tagged with taking a kid to the doctor, and it's not, we normally don't send him in with folks to the doctor all the time since I'm the registered nurse. But the best thing that really we could have done off the start, that everybody should do if you're in our boat, is tell the doctor up front, hey, we don't have pharmacy coverage. That is going to help you in two ways. One, he could have samples that he could send you home with. I'm not saying he always does, but he could. And option two, he realizes right then, could we go with the Publix free list, which they know, all pediatricians know what that list is. It's like amoxicillin. It's a pretty straight, all the time ordered things for kids. Or can we go with something that's cheaper? So tell them up front before things are prescribed, we don't have pharmacy coverage. I'm glad to get the medicine. I'm not telling you that I'm not going to get the coverage, but I'm asking you to make sure that you're prescribing the cheapest option and not the one that the drug rep was just in here telling you about and you think it sounds great. I don't want that one. I want the one that's still going to work, but costs $5. That's really the goal here. So tell them up front, and that's going to help you out a lot. Aletta is also mentioning a lot of brand name drugs have a savings card. Yes, so if you are put on a medication that does not have a generic, which is going to be some of the newer medications, no generics are out there for it. And definitely if this is something that you're going to be on for a while, calling the manufacturer directly is a huge way to bring down the cost of that medicine, because a lot of them do have some sort of program that you can sign up for, and they give you a savings card that you then show the pharmacy. Others of them actually offer, it's like a rebate type system. So you're going to buy the medication, you're going to submit to them, and they're going to send it back to you in a rebate. Always call the manufacturer though. It does not hurt to find out they had nothing. It took 5 minutes of your time, but more than often than not, you're going to find out that they do have a program. And definitely for the medications that are fresh out on the market and don't have a generic, again, it's not gonna hurt you to try, for sure. Okay. So Ashley's saying my utilities section, electricity bill, cell phone, water bill of our budget is always high. Definitely need advice on that section. So Ashley, the first thing that you can do on basic utilities to try to take away the sting, and this is something we should all do. So if you have not, this is I don't care if it hurts you or not, everyone needs to make this your homework, is calling your water bill and your electricity bill and putting them on budget billing. So it's not going to save you money, but what it's going to do is average out your payment over the whole year. So come July, when it's 110 outside or feels like 110, you're not going to open up that July bill come the beginning of August and have a small, hissy fit or whatever is going to happen, panic attack, because the bill just went up $150. The bill's not going to change. The bill will always be the same amount every single month. Next year, when it looks at what you spent every single month, if you spent too much, the next year your monthly payments are going to go down. If you didn't spend enough, next year your monthly payments are going to go up. But it readjusts yearly, spread out over 12 months, and takes the sting off of those really hard months. It does take away the joy of the really low months, but those hard winter months, which are usually right around Christmas, and the hard summer months are not as painful. So start there with budget billing. I want to say there's probably some tiny water companies and whatnot that don't offer it, but pretty much all of your major utilities do offer budget billing. So that's going to be your water and your power, hands down. That one's easy. The other things that you could do on those two are potentially there's investments that you could make that could potentially lower it. But one option that technically will cost nothing, again, this is depending on where you are, but call your utility provider and see if they offer an in-home energy audit. So what this is they send somebody to the house and they walk around and they look at the house and they give you things that they think can be done to help bring down your electricity bill. So they may say, hey, we're noticing you've got a lot of leaks around your windows. Your windows could use, maybe in the winter, some plastic that's sealed over your windows. Not pretty, but it might work. Those energy audits, a lot of the major electricity companies offer them completely free. So call and see if they offer them. You don't even have to clean. You'll never see these people again. Just let them see your mess and come in, give you the audit. And the perk is that a lot of them will also give you free light bulbs while they're in your house. So, hey, take it. And a lot of them will also give you these free little insulators that go behind your sockets and behind your light switch. I don't even know what that's called. The little plastic piece that goes over the socket that makes it look pretty. Well, it's like this little insulator that goes behind that. So they'll give you those as well. So you'll get some freebies out of it. I know Duke Energy gives free shower heads to people, which is kind of strange to me because it's Duke Energy and not water. But if they want to give free shower heads, you should take that too. So call and get your free energy audit and see what they'll offer you and the tips that they'll give you too to help bring down those bills is going to be huge. Beyond that, it's going to be up to you. Maybe it's bumping the AC a little higher in the summer and the heat a little lower. We can make ourselves as uncomfortable as possible, opening up the windows, ceiling fans, all of that you could potentially use less energy by not using the air conditioner and moving air in a different way. The biggest expenses in your house are large appliances and your air conditioner. So any way that we can cut that, maybe we have beautiful weather in the summer and you start to line dry. Not saying you have to line dry your underwear, but not using your dryer and potentially going old school here could save you a chunk of money. So there could be some things that you could do if this is we really need to bring down the electricity bill. How much are you willing to dry? And that dryer is a big one. That's an easy one for us to not use. I could be like, don't use your refrigerator. That's not really going to work so well. But your dryer is one that you probably could manage to do without. I know my grandmother, rare that my grandmother ever put clothes in a dryer. They all got hung up on the line, including your underwear. So you better just bring enough if you came to visit and you didn't want them hung up outside. That's what she was going to do. And I have no doubt that their electricity bill was pennies compared to where ours is with 7 kids and running a dryer all the time. So I don't know if any of that helped, but it's some things you could do at least. So from Periscope, someone's asking, ways to save on food. We're talking about food being really high right now. What are some things that we could do to bring down food costs? So the easiest thing that we could do right off the bat, not even using coupons here, guys, is meal plan. So if you have not started planning your meals, having some kind of idea of where we're going, because that is going to keep you from walking around the grocery store and randomly adding things to the cart that you think you might need. First off, you may already have them at home, so now you're buying them and you don't necessarily need them. But second, you do tend to buy a lot that you might never use. So if I go in with a meal plan and with an idea of, I already have all the things to make this except for this, this, and this, you're going to spend a lot less in the grocery store. So that is where I would start. That is just a very fast answer, but using the lists that are on Southern Savers for every grocery store in your area, remember that we only list the things that are actually on sale today. It's not the entire Publix ad or the entire Kroger ad. It's only the items that are a decent price. So going in and grabbing those items when they're on sale, grabbing enough of them to last you until they're back on sale. That's the meat and potatoes of saving money in the grocery store right there, is just following the sale cycle, which is 6 weeks. So I see that it's on sale today. It's not going to be back on sale for 6 weeks, and getting enough to last me until it's back on sale. So meal planning and just following the sales cycle, that is going to save you a chunk off of your grocery bill for sure. Okay. To try to jump back, let's see. Oh, I love that you guys are sharing other ways that you've saved on medicine too. You'll always have lots of great tips. Melody's saying set your thermostat at 78 degrees inside when you're not at home, and when you return, set it back to 75. Yeah, and Melody, that's great to make those adjustments. The hard part is how much a lot of us are at home right now, that becomes tricky. For us, we're always here. We homeschool, so we tend to just leave it at 1 and then it bumps down. Actually, it gets warmer while we're sleeping. There are times that I am not necessarily loving that, but it does get a little warmer and then it cuts back on earlier in the morning so that we wake up and we don't feel quite as hot. But you don't have to have blankets on your bed, or so my husband says. I'm still working on that. Let's see. Oh, and Wendy says she called this week about switching cell phone carriers. She has Verizon paying $60 a month for 1 gig, and Spectrum was only $14 for 1 gig. However, your phone wasn't compatible, and kind of going back and forth. So her particular question was, does anyone use consumer cellular or other services? So there are a few things that you could use, Wendy, and one in particular with Verizon, and it depends on what your phone is, but going with the plan that Walmart has, which is, I think, Straight Talk Wireless. So Walmart's plan runs on Verizon towers, and you would have the exact same service, but a fraction of the price. So don't ever look past the tiny guys that are out there. And there are a few others that are worth looking into. Mint Mobile is a big one. So Straight Talk Wireless, which is Walmart's plan, Mint Mobile, and then looking potentially into some of the prepaid plans, because we do see deals on those prepaid cards all the time. I know Kroger right now has some that are basically 50% off. Target has some that are buy one and get the other a chunk off. So you could look into that too. I just don't know what your phone is, what type of phone you have or what it's capable of going to. Another option is actually looking at switching phones. So some of these cheaper plans actually offer phones when you switch to them, and that could be something too, is kind of giving up on the phone that you have if it's really costing you more in the end. I know you're saying your phone's only a year old, so purchasing one isn't an option, but if they're going to just give you a cheaper one, maybe that is an option to not have to pay for it right now. And Megan says her air stays at 71. I think I would be wearing a blanket in your house, Megan. I grew up in Florida, so we have a running joke in our house that whenever it hits 60, I'm ready for a fire. When we woke up this morning, it was 66 outside, and I even told my husband, we're only 6 degrees away, and I get a fire. So I don't know if I can handle 71 all the time. I just naturally, I get cold crazy fast. But that's that. If that works for you and you can afford it, go for it. And Crystal's chiming into you too, Wendy, on saying, have you looked into Cricket Wireless? They have unlimited talk, text, and data for $45 a month. So that would be something too that you could try. Okay, I think I'm almost caught up with you guys. And Rose is also saying, turn off the dishwasher when it gets to the dry cycle and open the door. We do that too. So our dishwasher has a heated dry. We always turn off that feature and open the door and let the air handle it from there. We could be better and hand wash everything, but there's just some things in life that gives a mama some sanity, and having a dishwasher is one of them. So I don't care where our budget gets. I am not willing to give up that appliance at this point in my life. Maybe when the kids are grown, but not right now. Not going there. But I can give up the dryer. If I had to, I could do the dryer. Okay, so we've hit a lot of categories. Again, if you guys have a specific section of your budget that you want tips on, feel free to chime in. I want to jump to some ways that you could make some side money. And we hit on some of these a number of weeks back when everything went crazy and folks were getting furloughed, or some folks were getting laid off. But really, we hit this whole list over a year ago. So I don't know if I can get through everything. And if we can't, we did just repost it a few weeks ago. So it's 22 ways to save or to make some side money. And I'll try to find that link for you guys and put it in the comments too. But we're going to go through a few of them anyway, of just ideas that you could use or that you could do to make some extra money on the side. These could be full-time jobs, but I think for most of us, they would really be completely side jobs. So the easiest right now is teaching. And already we have a lot of folks that were not homeschoolers, and now you are. You've been homeschooling your kids for a few months. But you could actually become an online teacher teaching kids English in foreign countries. So that's a big one with Education First or VIP Kid. Those are two of the biggest companies doing it. But there's also other resources where you can kind of create your own class if you're super creative or you have a talent and you think you could kind of get that across to adults or kids. OutSchool is one in particular that you can look at. I shared it, I guess 2 weekends ago as an idea for online camps for your kids. But OutSchool, so it is called outschool.com, they will let you set up your own course. And when somebody purchases the course, you're going to get paid. If nobody purchases the course, then you don't. But you're going to teach classes live in whatever that subject was. So maybe you love birds. There are people that are doing classes for kids just on interesting bird facts and sharing all that they know. So they could be all over the board, crafty, sciencey, math, wherever you feel like your talents are, you could go there. So there's other places that do the same thing. That's just one, but you can start to research it. The salary for most of these education systems is about the same. It's about $20 an hour, and that's not a bad rate for a job you did not have to leave the house for, and that you really only needed a computer, as side hustle money. Not bad. So Education First and VIP Kid are the two that are teaching English in China. Those do take a little bit more to get started because they're going to vet you as to who you are. And some of the course sites, they still vet you, but not as hard because on those, you're really setting up your own course. And if it doesn't sell, they're not out anything. Versus the VIP Kid and the Education First, you're kind of coming in, you're going to get some of the students that they've already got registered. So it's just a little bit more of a get started on that one. So another option is looking into mystery shopping. And we have not talked about that in a while, but it is something that is still there. It's still an option. So if you're already headed to the grocery store, you can actually get mystery shopping gigs. I've done some for Kroger before. You can get them for all sorts of stores, banks. We did them for a while on getting our oil changed on a Chevy Suburban. So it could be the car you already own and you're getting free oil changes and paid to get your oil changed. So mystery shopping can be kind of a fun and a easy one to pay for what you already needed is how I would look at it. Not that you're going to go out and make a ton of money on the side because the payments for the mystery shopping aren't huge. But in the end, I would look at it not in the sense of how much I made, but how much I saved. I already needed the oil change, and this just made the oil change free. Plus, I got like $15 for my write-up at the end. But the oil change was like a $50 oil change on a Chevy Suburban or more than that. That's really where the money was if you already had to have it. So look into that one. I just have my husband sticking a link to, it's an older post, but it's how to get started on mystery shopping. I did not, before we went live, check to make sure all the links were still good, but I'll go back through tonight and make sure that all the links and the companies are still good. But the ones that I have there are the ones that I've always done shops through. There are a number of companies that offer mystery shopping. Here's the one rule before I move on past mystery shopping, and that is that you should never have to pay to be a mystery shopper. So I don't mean like pay for a product, but I mean pay to sign up. Never pay to sign up. Legit mystery shopping companies do not require that you pay money to be a shopper with them. So don't go there. Nor should you have to pay to join a list. There are lots of places that have these things posted for free. So don't do that. Mystery shopping for you should have no outlay and cost. It may require that you purchase a product in the store. So an example for me on a past Kroger mystery shop, I was actually mystery shopping the Kroger deli. So I was required to go in and buy 1 pound of deli lunch meat, have it sliced, get a sample given to me, or did they give you the sample? That these are all, you're kind of testing their process, whether or not their employees are doing the process. I did have to buy the pound, but that was part of my reimbursement as well, was the cost of the pound of meat plus the time to fill in the form. So hopefully it's a small glimpse of mystery shopping, but it is a fun and an easy idea to make a little extra. Martha's saying she's been doing it for years, and yes, restaurants. So I was just talking more groceries and the things that you need, but restaurants are a fun one. We had a very fun date at Longhorn doing a mystery shop. It even required that we buy dessert, which we usually would never do. So those are great, getting into the restaurant side and getting some free date nights. I can't handle you on the babysitting. There is no mystery shoppers for babysitters, but if you don't have to pay to eat out, that's pretty sweet. So thank you for reminding me on the restaurants too. Okay, and yes, so lots of people chiming in there too. But mystery shopping is a fun one, a fun and an easy one. So let's see some others. There, if you have some skills, if you're a copywriter, freelancer, your graphic design, there are some ways that you could turn that into jobs. Fiverr and Upwork are two easy companies that you can post work to and find jobs through the places that you're posting. So you can post or you can grab jobs for the places that you're wanting. So this is Upwork, and you can find quality talent or agencies. So you basically post yourself here, what you're able to do, and then folks can come and find you through this. And it's a great way for you to get some freelance work. So this is Upwork.com, and Fiverr is another one. Fiverr, there are actually gigs that you could post that would be like a $5 gig. That's how it kind of got the name. But you can do things that are worth more. You really want to do some that are worth less and get some reviews behind your work, and then you can start to up your price. Don't go big right away, or you really won't get a lot out of Fiverr. But it is a good way if you've got some online skills to make some side money using those online skills. The same if you're big in photography, you've been taking your own pictures, you love to go on vacation and take pictures, you can actually sell your pictures online. So Shutterstock lets you do this. You join them, you post your pictures. If they sell, you get a chunk of what sells with Shutterstock. If they don't sell, they don't sell. But if you've got some pictures that you've taken, why not see if someone would love them for easy stock footage? Be smart here, just to tell you, think of the things that companies would want. So if it's summertime and I'm a company, I'm probably going to either be writing about or be advertising summer things, the beach, vacation, family time. So posting pictures that line up with what you think companies would be interested in, but are kind of, in a sense, bland is the word that's coming to my mind, but it's really the wrong word, but they're generic. They're not your family seated, with messy faces, but they're anyone's family. If you look at it that way, that's really what a brand's looking for, and those are the pictures that are going to sell the best. Generic landscapes, generic beach scenes, those are great. So if you've got some of those already in your computer from past vacations, dig them out and see if you can get some extra money through all of those, going up online and trying to sell them too. And Jessica's saying if you do freelance jobs, to also check out fieldnation.com and workmarket.com. So those are two others that she recommends. And thank you for chiming in on those, Jessica, as other options to get your name out there and to try to get other work for freelancers for sure. So some other options that are still big, and these are ones I have mentioned a number of times in posts and in videos when everything was going crazy in March. DoorDash, Instacart, Shipped, they are all still hiring, not in every city. So in some cities they are very set, but it only takes a second to log into their system and see if they are hiring drivers in your area. And some of them, they're always accepting new drivers, and it just may be that you're kind of low man on the totem pole as to whether or not you're going to get any of the offers that come through, but it doesn't hurt to sign up with them. There is no cost to sign up with them either. You're just you're ready to go. And some of these you are literally ready to go within like 2 days. You just have to prove that you have car insurance and that you have a car, where you live, and you're done. And you can start to accept gigs with DoorDash, Instacart, and Shipt. We have a friend whose kid home from college is doing DoorDash. That is his summer job. So, this does not have to be an adult job either, but it is a great, easy, you work when you want to work, and you make some money when you want to make money, and you don't work when you don't want to work. So it is kind of the ideal side job on that one. And you're basically picking up someone's groceries and taking it to them. I'd say DoorDash is actually possibly the easiest option because you didn't have to make the food. When you think Instacart and Shipt, you are going to have to go to the grocery store for most of those and shop the order, pick up what they want. But with DoorDash, you're just picking up the food they wanted from the store and taking it to their house. So if you want a really simple job for a college kid, that would be the one. I don't know that I'd want to send the college kid off to do my grocery shopping, but definitely picking up your takeout they can handle. So Deborah's saying, what about typing jobs and any of those? So transcription work used to be a big one. You could still look in and see if you could find any online transcription jobs. Fiverr and Upwork you could still put in as an option for typing and kind of freelance copywriting. It depends on whether you're wanting to just type what someone else has typed up or you're wanting to do the writing yourself. Most people are going to want the copywriter. They're going to want someone who writes the text rather than, I don't need someone to just type for me. So if you're looking at copywriting, that's what I would start to Google. There are a number of sites that do copywriting, and Fiverr, Upwork. I wouldn't be surprised if the two that Jessica also mentioned have those too. So Field Nation and Work Market were the two that she mentioned, that they have copywriting probably also as an option for you. Something else that you could look into if you're going to start to Google terms is looking into becoming a virtual assistant. So now that everyone's working from home, a virtual assistant is basically like you're an assistant, you're a secretary. You're not working with that person at their house. You're working from your house, but you're still going to help them with things. So websites use a lot of virtual assistants to help them with their behind the scenes tasks with typing and freelance copy work. But you could also have folks that own a business that are still needing that too. So you could be their phone call person. You could be their scheduler, but you're not really in the office with them. So looking up becoming a virtual assistant and finding sites that have those types of jobs posted would be one to look into as well. On that note, there are even jobs with Amazon, guys, that are online. You're an Amazon support rep. So going through Amazon systems, seeing what kinds of jobs they're offering is a very, very simple one for finding work. A lot of those are also posted if you go to the Monsters and the job posting boards of the world and typing in work from home positions, you'll find a number of customer support type positions that are posted on those sites. Also think about some of the bigger brands. Not everybody has their call centers in foreign countries. So hopping onto bigger brands Gap Stores, who owns Gap and Old Navy and all the others, and looking at their jobs posted, seeing what they have that might also be online customer support. You could hop into any of those. So that's going to be legwork on your part if you haven't found it posted on a job forum. But still, you might be surprised how many of them do have those online jobs available in customer support. Josie's asking specifically, what about scholarships for college? In terms of that, Josie, that could be kind of a huge topic. There's a ton of them. So one tip in particular, and this is really from a friend of mine, and that is that you could start as soon as middle school applying for scholarships. Now, we're not talking like the massive scholarships that you get when you're a senior, the state's handing out, but what we're talking about is little scholarships that some businesses set up, some local governments set up, and they are for anyone in the community. Well, half the time, not a lot of folks apply. And a lot of times that it's not set to a specific age. It's set to children within this age range. And you'll be surprised how young that age range is. The scholarship may be for $500, $1,000, but that money adds up quickly. And you can always get the scholarship and tuck it away and have it sitting there earning interest while you're waiting for your kids to go into college. There are some scholarship services that you can use to find things. One in particular that happens to be in the Carolinas. I think this person actually lives in North Carolina, but I just subscribed to her emails, is Scholarship Gold. So just search for that, Scholarship Gold. She runs some courses that you can watch online. She used to do them in person. You could sign up for them if you want. We've not actually done one of her courses. I did hear her speak at a homeschool conference years ago, and that's, I think, how I got her emails. But she sends out emails of scholarship reminders and deadlines and things that your kids could be signing up for that are not Carolina specific. So if you don't live in North Carolina or South Carolina, it's okay. So Scholarship Gold would be hers. There's other folks that do the same thing. And also looking on I know that there are even just websites where folks will just post scholarships. So looking on those and being really broad and starting really early. Another big tip for scholarships for kids is to get them to save their essays, because a number of the prompts are kind of the same. And so once I've gotten my kid to sit down and write some scholarship essays, which they're not going to want to do, helping them realize how easy it is to take that essay and tweak it a little bit and not have to redo all the work when the prompt is really similar for another scholarship that's out there. So that one, once they get into the swing of this, they're going to find that it's pretty easy and they can knock out a number of others. So Wendy's asking, how much does Instacart pay? I personally have not done it. I have some friends that have done Shipt, Wendy, and Shipt for them came out to about $22 an hour. Instacart, I do know that there's someone that is usually on our Q&As that does Instacart. So hopefully she will chime in and tell you what her pay rate was. Instacart says the pay is between $20 to $24 an hour. But I think so much of this is dependent on the type of offers that you get. So whether or not they're in-store shops or whether you just pick them up. So an example there, Publix has now got Instacart where the store is pulling the food and you can come and pick it up and deliver it. So it depends on what type of offer you select, and then it also depends on the tip. And that is where it can vary greatly as to what that tip looks like when you're done. But Instacart does say that the payment is between $20 to $24 an hour. So it just depends on, where you want to go with that as to whether you want to trust them or not in that number. I don't know. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to catch up on your question there. Alita's saying, I've been listening to YouTube videos while driving and now I can't find some of the information that you've heard. So you were talking about Innovations mobile app. I don't know on that one. I'll have to go digging to think about what it is that you're referring to, Alita. And if I can, I'll comment back and underneath your comment to try to help you out on that one. L'Oreal Rewards, they've now shut down. It used to be around. I don't think it's running anymore. I know they had everybody spend their rewards. They do still have coupons on L'Oreal's site for like $1 off any product that you can print. And the criteria for ordering CVS and Walgreens online versus in-store. So you can get all the deals at CVS online. You can earn all the extra care bucks online and have it shipped to you. Walgreens, you can earn all of the balance reward deals online and have them shipped to you. You cannot earn the register reward deals. So I think that's probably what you're asking. Okay. And Jessica's chiming in too on how Uber Eats works. So they post an order to the app and it will let you know what that order is going to pay. And it can be a huge variation. If they don't get a taker, then they'll repost it for a little higher until someone takes it or the customer cancels the order. Okay, so the Innovations was on a top mobile. Yeah, I may need to go digging on that one, Alita, because I don't remember. It's not an app that I currently use. So I can show you all of my current apps here for a second, and maybe that will help you. So these are the current couponing apps that I tend to use. Checkout 51, Saving Star, Fetch, Ibotta, GoodRx. That one was helpful today. Get Upside. Those are the big ones that I use on a regular basis. And then I have all of my stores in there. So those are the kind of go-tos. I'm not sure on the others, but I'll try to dig back and see what it was because I don't have anything with that name on my app now, or on my phone now, so not quite sure. Okay, to keep going through our list and some ideas here of ways to make money. One that I meant to share. Miss J said contact tracers is actually really big right now. She has family members who applied and got the job paying between $20 and $25 an hour. So Miss J, that is a new one to me. I'm going to guess that the company isn't necessarily contact tracer, but if you just Google contact tracer jobs, I've just already put in the 2 words and it's giving me quite a number of, Google is already trying to autofill that. So just a general Google is going to return a lot for you. So go hunting for it. And then keep in mind the general rules for these. So I know that it sounds amazing. It's easy work at $20 to $25 an hour, pretty great. But remember, general rules for online jobs, you should never have to pay. So why I'm saying that is that when we see jobs like this that become huge, they're very popular, there is always somebody who tries to take advantage and tries to get that top ranking on Google and then get you into some kind of sales funnel. We don't need to be in a sales funnel. So if you click through links through Google and they don't end up at jobs, then back up and try another link. So don't ever feel like you need to pay money, enter some kind of forum to get more information. You just need to end up where it's giving you a job and make it that simple right there in front of you. But that's a great one, Miss J, that I definitely did not have on my list because the list that I have, I really wrote everything out last year. And contact tracing was not big last year. I don't think any of us could have even seen where we are right now. But that is a great one. So I'm glad you chimed in with that. One that I did want to mention right now, actually, and this is a big one, more so than ever in the past. If you have a RV or camper of some sorts, renting out your camper. So going through Outdoorsy or RV Share, those are the 2 big programs for this. Camping is huge right now. No one is really wanting to fly anywhere. No one can cruise anywhere, and folks are staying closer to home. So much so we have a camper, and just trying to find a campground that has open availability on a Friday or Saturday night, it's near impossible in the entire state. That's how many people are camping right now. But for you, if you have a camper, maybe you aren't trying to go anywhere in your camper, but you could totally do RV Share or Outdoorsy. Some of them you'll even go and set up your camper for them so that you don't have to worry about them trying to haul it around and trying to set it up if they don't know what they're doing. But they are paying you rent on your camper, which is awesome. It's an easy way to make some extra money on a camper that is just sitting there. And I love the fact that it is huge right now. I kind of feel like we've gone back to the 1970s and 1980s, and we're all just reliving all these great things that we had forgotten about because camping is pretty fun. But a great way, if you have a camper, to put it to work for you and make some money back to do those. So again, that was Outdoorsy and RVshare.com are the 2 big ones. There are others, but those are the 2 biggest that are out there. Can I explain in detail how Poshmark works? So Wendy, Poshmark, let's see, I'm gonna pull it up for you. I know, I'm thinking, like, are you thinking Poshmark? Like when I even, we have like email delivery is what comes up for me with Poshmark, but Poshmark is, yes, thank you. Like, this is a new one to me. So Poshmark is a way that you can sell your high-end clothing to other folks. So you have high-end clothing, you can sell it on Poshmark. You can also buy it on Poshmark. It's kind of like a eBay, Etsy of the world for high-end clothing. So Lululemon, Vera Bradley, and even higher, Tory Burch. So you think you're huge name brands, and that's about as far as I get in my genre of big brands because I am not a a big brand girl. I'm happy with my $5 t-shirt. So if you have those products, this is where Poshmark is where you can turn around and sell them. And since we're talking ways to make money, digging out of your closet and selling is a great way to do that. This is Poshmark's site, so it doesn't really get us very far. You do have to create a login to be able to shop or to sell. They also have an app. So you can do this yourself. Some of the folks through this will actually let you just send it and they'll sell it for you, but you're going to make more if you sell it yourself. So you just sign up and you're good to go. Yeah, Kate Spade. I do have a Kate Spade purse that I bought from ThreadUp, which is another online sales site. So it's the exact same thing. You're basically going to just sign up. You're going to list it. This is a pretty simple one in terms of listing on their site. Is you want to just quickly search, or listing for anything. So if you're looking at cleaning out the house and making some side money through that, wherever you list it, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Poshmark, if it's a high-end brand, you want to look at what's been selling, what that price range is that's been selling, and then are you willing to accept that price range? So Facebook Marketplace, you can see what other listings are there for the exact same product. Obviously, you can't list higher. No one's going to go for the highest amount. They want the lowest amount. That's the goal, right? eBay, there is a way on eBay to go and see what finished auctions are. So it's in the search, the bottom of the search on eBay. There'll be a button that says see completed listings. You can actually see what sold, what didn't sell. So we'll show you that too, and what that final price was on the options that sold. And so even for your high-end items, Wendy, I would recommend you do that hunting on all of the sites. So if I'm looking at Kate Spade bags, pull it up on Facebook Marketplace, pull it up on eBay. Let's see what that going price is across the sites, because remember, you've got to factor in a chunk that each site is going to take back as their commission on your sale, except for Facebook Marketplace. So if I sell directly through Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, now I don't know that that would be the place to go for a Kate Spade bag, but you get the idea. If I sell directly, I don't have any commission that I'm losing, versus selling through an eBay or a Poshmark, I'm going to lose a chunk. So figuring out where it's being sold and factoring that in so that you can decide where you're going to list it, but it's also going to help you decide what that price should be and then get it listed. When it sells, you're going to ship it to the person that bought it, and they're going to pay you through that company's site. So you're just going to check out directly through them, through PayPal. Kind of depends on the platform that you're using, but that's the gist of how these work. One other option for anyone that is trying to clean out the closet but doesn't want to do a lot of work is ThreadUp. So ThreadUp will let you order a closet clean out bag. You put all of your stuff in it and send it to them. You don't necessarily know how much they're going to give you for your items, but you get something. So if you have a bunch of items, you don't want to take the time to list them, and you don't necessarily care that you're going to get top dollar, you just want something back for them, that's a great way to go. Because if I took that whole bag to Goodwill, I don't really have anything for that. Most of us can't even write that off on our taxes anymore. So getting the bag and sending it off to ThreadUp and getting something back for the bag is better than nothing. And it's super easy because it took no work on your part to have to list each item or deal with the sales in the end. I don't know that that's the way I would go for Kate Spade bags, but you get an idea at least of another option that is zero work other than just filling up a bag and mailing it to ThreadUp. So how do you get paid, Wendy? With most of these, it depends on the platform. So if they're going to pay you through PayPal, that's going to be in your PayPal account, and you just send that straight to your bank. And if they're going to pay through the platform, then the platform is usually going to have a way for you to cash out, just like Ibotta would. So when I have that earnings, they're going to send it usually to PayPal, and you're going to still end up in that setting. So for me with Poshmark, I confess I've not ever listed anything with Poshmark. I do have some good friends that are high-end bag people. It's mostly bags for them, that they have a Poshmark account and they are selling bags and then getting new bags all the time. But that's how you're going to do it, is usually linking it directly through into a PayPal account. So just kind of think of it like Ibotta. I've earned my money and now I'm going to cash out on that money. And Deborah says the reviews that you've read about ThreadUp are not good. So, for me, I have done one closet clean out bag, Deborah. I was content with the money that they gave me because I also don't have a bunch of super high-end things. I have a lot of Target and Old Navy, and those aren't going to earn a ton of money, they didn't cost a ton of money. So I was kind of okay. You do get a higher payout if you're willing to accept ThredUp credit rather than cash. So consider that option. And in terms of the clothes we've gotten from ThredUp, we've done a lot more ordering from ThredUp than we have sending things to ThredUp. We've been pretty content with everything that we've gotten, kids' clothes and adult clothes. The hard part in shopping their site is that I don't think they do a very good job of taking pictures. So you're left with that doesn't really look so great. It's all wrinkled, or, I get they don't have time to iron everything that comes in, but that would probably be my only holdup with them. I was happy with everything we got, but there are times that you'll just end up passing over something that could have been super cute if you were seeing it on a rack, but you're not. You're just seeing a wrinkled picture of it taken on their website. That's not really my favorite part, but I never had any problems with them directly. One other thing for ThredUp, I'm not sure what this relationship is going to look like, but they have now partnered with Walmart. So that's going to be an interesting one to see as Walmart gets kind of into the ThredUp industry of buying and selling used items, how that's going to change ThredUp. Will it make it better? I don't know, but it's an interesting connection that Walmart is making there. And they just announced that within the last, I think, 2 or 3 weeks that we saw that one come around. So it'll be interesting to watch because Walmart's never been in the used industry and reselling items there. But there have been other companies that have done the same thing, and they're not really around anymore. So ThredUp's kind of the only one that I would really push you to if you're looking for that type of setup. Don't forget that there are local consignment stores too. So it's really, we're basically talking about consignment here. So if you don't want to go into the having to deal with this yourself, looking for local places. Plato's Closet is a national chain, but they are in a number of cities. You drop off your items. They want super trendy. Plato's Closet really wants like teenage, super trendy. And you drop them off. They sell them, and then they give you a chunk of what sells, kids' clothes. And you have your lots of consignments, not only local consignment sales, but you've got oh goodness, their name is gone, but I know that somebody can leave this in the comments for me. The kids place that just sells all kids' clothes. They're all over the country. I can see the billboard that's on the interstate headed towards them now, but I can't think of their name. So someone give me that in the comments and help me out. But lots of easy ways to sell kids things. I would even go local consignment because you're going to get even more for that. Second and Charles is a good one for selling books. If you have a Second and Charles nearby, they do books and music that you can sell to them. You don't have to wait for the book to sell. You sell to them and get something back for your books. And then you can maybe turn around and use it for more books or just take it for cash too. Thank you, Lynn. Once upon a child. I don't think I would have gotten there at all. My brain had just turned off on that one completely once upon a child. So thank you guys for helping me out. But local consignment's easy because you didn't have to sit there and list it and take pictures of it, deal with questions, deal with shipping. It's done. You just dropped it off. And depending on how they work, some are going to pay you up front and some are going to list it under a consignor number. And then once it sells, you're going to get that back. But either way, you still got something back and you didn't have to put a lot of work into it. That's the perk of going local consignment and potentially helping out a local owner too, helping out your local stores stay in business, giving them things to keep selling is never a problem. But can be an easy one for you. Okay. So lots of ways there. Even more, we didn't make it through the whole list. I knew we wouldn't. It was a lot to cover all in one night. So head over to the post. It's 22 ways to make money online. I don't know if my husband stuck it in the comments yet or not. But if we didn't, I will go and find the link to it and make sure that we get it in the comments so that you guys can kind of skim through that and find other ways. Be a ebook reader. That's one, I have a kiddo that thinks that sounds like a really fun job. Get your kids to work writing their own ebooks. How many of you have been homeschooling? You want something creative to do, you can self-publish. So they can self-publish. They just write an ebook, and Amazon has a self-publishing program. you just basically give them a PDF of the book and they spit out an ebook of it. So super, super easy. If they don't sell any, they don't sell any. But if they do, they made some money. So it's kind of fun to get that out there and to try it. And counts as school. Check. They wrote a really long paper and you got to work on editing and all sorts of things, but they got to feel like it was real. They weren't just randomly writing a paper for no particular reason, but they were writing a book, and that's pretty cool. But adults can do it too. It's not just kids, but it's a fun one and an easy one that can also earn some side money to go and get self-published this summer. So Lynn's got a question. How do the balance rewards work as far as expiring? Do they roll the ones that were earned first? So balance rewards, they don't actually expire one at a time. As long as I shop in Walgreens once in a 6-month window, my balance rewards don't expire for a year. Now, if I went a whole 6 months without shopping in Walgreens once, then they will expire. If I technically held on to them for a whole year, then they would expire as well. But they do technically pull from the oldest ones that you've earned. So as long as you're routinely shopping in Walgreens, even once every other month, they're not really going to expire on you. You're not going to have a balance reward issue unless you were holding on to thousands upon thousands of balance rewards. Then potentially you could have some expire if you never redeemed them. But I would imagine for most of us, you're kind of routinely redeeming some here and there. You are just fine. You are not going to have any issues with them expiring. It's not like CVS where each reward has its own expiration date and its own value. Walgreens is really just giving you a bucket. And every time you shop, it's like that bucket just got renewed, if that makes sense. Though some of them, they did create a 1-year expiration date that does affect it in a way, but I don't think it's a big deal to worry about. I think you're going to be just fine and it never really be an issue for you with Walgreens rewards. Okay, we're right here at time, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. So next week, hop back in and join me. Pulling up to see where we're going to go. It's a good one, as we were talking about how to save at the grocery store. So let's talk just the basics of saving at the grocery store, but ways to save even more. So let's talk rebates and Catalina deals and taking it as far as we can to save even more at the grocery store. We kind of covered this one earlier back in May, but I know there's a lot of folks that have been joining into couponing or getting back into couponing that you took a really long break. So it's kind of timely for us to do this too. And we'll be back. You know, groceries are never a bad topic. So that's the one we're going to hit on next week, is just stay in grocery land. And let's try to cut our grocery budgets because I think we all need it right now. And that's where we're going to go. So join in next Monday night, 8:30, always the same time. And, you know, have a friend join in with you too, because honestly, saving money is a little bit more fun when you have a friend joining in on the game of it all. So thanks for joining me tonight. I hope that you learned something new and hopefully that your budget and maybe some side money can come out of this too. So you guys have a great week and I'll talk to you again next Monday night.